So this is a very beautiful rag called Bimpalasri. And we talked about this during lunch. We don't really follow which raga is supposed to be sang at what time of the day. There's Astaprahar, right? 8 3-hour periods of the day. Each raga represents a particular time or prahar. 3 times 48 minutes. Not exactly 3 hours. And each raga or ragini presiding over a particular planet. And if you don't follow the particular time for the particular raga, we commit an offense. Okay? But we Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we sing all kind of ragas at all kind of times. Because Krishna is the master and the lord of the demigods, of all the ragas and raginis. So they sign up to be in their service at any time. They're not going to lodge a complaint against their Lord and Master when you chant the Hare Krishna maha-mantra. So, but this particular rag, Bimpalasri, is sang at this time. Maybe a little late now. But it's summertime, so it shifts a little bit late to later because the sun sets later. Around 4 o'clock. 3 to 5, 6, like that. Yeah. And Gaudiya Vaishnavas like this raga Bimpalasri very much because it represents Purva raga, and rag is different. So Purva rag means the anticipation prior to meeting. So we pray, of course the Brajabasis, they're hoping to see Krishna. The Brajabasis, they're hoping to see Krishna later on, and they rendezvous or whatever pastime they have together. And they're anticipating the meeting, with so much hopes and separation. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said we should chant in that feeling. And we chant our japa or our kirtan in hopes to meet Krishna. Of course, we might not be on that level, but we should aspire to be coming to that level. We just had a nice festival dedicated to the holy name with His Holiness Srila Ramapad Swami. And my program is, I do a little kirtan, then we speak a little bit about the holy name, some Nam Tattva. And then I do some more kirtan. A little explanation is always good. If you don't understand the philosophy regarding Krishna consciousness and this chanting, especially the youth, we always stress, you guys have to start reading the small books, Science of Self-Realization, all these easy books. Maybe Bhagavad Gita is too technical. I don't want to undermine your intelligence or whatever, but just, it's a TikTok generation, Some people cannot even finish one page. Is it? It's a real issue. I have a 6-year-old son, so it's iPads and things like that are just destroying their minds and their lives. They're watching all these Coco Melon videos and whatnot, and they're going. There's a lot of action. A lot of these cartoons have so much action going on. Every 2 seconds is something new picture, new action, new sound. Move forward a little bit because more people are coming in, please. So when they take their eyes off the iPad and come to real life, and it's no fun. It's where's the action? Where the colors? Where the sounds? They cannot hold a conversation, etc. Anyway, so The first book I received was second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Very technical, and I couldn't understand a word of it. And what I'd like to read at that point was the Prabhupada Lilamrita. And they had these little red books, I don't know if you remember, called Prabhupada Nectar. Anybody remembers those? Yeah? Yeah, so I loved it. I carry those wherever I went. And anyway, so this is not what I wanted to talk about. But many of us, most of our devotees are struggling with anishtata bhajan. Anybody knows what that means? Nishta, you know, nishta. Nishta means steady. So anishtata is the opposite of steady. Unsteady bhajan. Our japa, our focus, our devotional service, our enthusiasm. Unsteady. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. A recurring question comes up a lot. Prabhu, when I joined, or Maharaj, when I joined, I was so enthusiastic. I don't want to touch this. Okay. But then, the whole enthusiasm and ecstasy just faded out, and it's just business as usual. Just another day in the office. My japa is just another day in the office, you know. I want to get through it. You see. Where is the bliss? Where is the ananda? And I don't know if you paid attention. Maharaj explained this during the course. And I just want to remind everybody's memory. Those certain things, there's a whole list of them. Crookedness. What is crookedness? Kaputya, or duplicity. Cheating. Cheating mentality, you know. There's so many ways to cheat. You can cheat your spiritual master, your temple authorities, or even yourself. But he's just trying to get out of the whole operation of performing your sadhana. When you feel more attraction to material life, whether it be subtle or gross sense gratification, but you falsely consider yourself somewhat advanced and try to justify your cheating mentality within your ego and your mind. But it's not real. And then lack of faith, I've seen so many times, this is just one example. One big city in the US, they have a temple which caters to yoga people, you know, Western ladies. They come with a yoga mats, and we don't cater for yoga, hatha yoga and all these things. Don't worry, you don't have to sit like a pretzel, you know, so, and all that, and go on a macrobiotic diet, eat sprouts, and we eat samchas prasadam, we have a lot of fun chanting and dancing. And so, but those crowds, they accept everything, but they do not commit to anything. Isn't it? It's all good, it's wonderful, it's amazing and everything, but tell them to chant 60 rounds, etc., etc. So the devotees are like, this is, the problem is with the philosophy. So we were told in this place, don't tell the guests about Lord Chaitanya. It's too esoteric for them. It's not even funny. At one point, they took Srila Prabhupada's murti out of the temple because they thought it was too scary to them, or who is this old man? And In Oregon, there's a one, again, I'm not going to say the place and name, but there was one small temple run by some, not official ISKCON, but some ISKCON kind of devotees. So they took the picture of the acharyas from the altar because they said it's too much male dominated. Too many men on the altar. Where were the ladies? Thank God, I mean, you can put Janavama there. I mean, we have Srimati Radharani. Everyone worships Srimati Radharani. Now, why you have to bring it to the material platform? Anyway, so these are all signs of lack of faith. Don't preach about Lord Chaitanya. And don't tell them about the four regulative principles. I said, no, we're not going to, tell them about the four regs when they step in the door for the first time. But maybe after, if they're coming again, then we have to introduce them to the philosophy. And if you want to be merciful to them and compassionate, you have to bring them to a higher level. After all, sense gratification didn't make anybody happy so far. So we have a better solution. So this is lack of faith. And my experience is when you preach, you give everything purely from the heart with conviction because you do this, you believe this. People appreciate it. That they see that you're speaking from your heart. They may not be able to accept it right away, but they will respect you for it. And when you try to cheat them, and then they know that they're not stupid; they're very intelligent. They can see you're hiding something. So this person doesn't even believe what he practices. He's a joke. So lack of faith. Then of course there will be no ecstasy. There will be no bliss. Then failure to remain steady in worshipping the Lord. Again, it's just come to Anistata Bhakti, unsteady. Vishwanath Chakravarti in his Madhurya Kadambini explains these details very scrutinizingly. We'll get to that, I think. Becoming absorbed in material objects. If you become absorbed in material objects, you contemplate too much something that is to your liking or interest, it will take your mind and absorbs your consciousness in those material things, and they will stay with you. And then it will be your concentration or your japa will be just soaked in those material things, and you'll find it difficult because your mind will wander. How many times we hear, "Oh, my mind is wandering here and there." Yes, of course. I mean, we are householders. We have to maintain, our income source and provide for our family, etc., etc. So these difficulties are there. Laxity in performing bhakti. Unable to, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, unable to keep up one's vows. He says, from today on I'm going to chant 25 rounds. Okay? Or it's Kartik, I'm going to do 32 rounds. Or we had the Holy Name Retreat, 64 rounds, just one day. I think most everybody did it. Yeah. But there are occasions, it's just one day, but to do it every day, maybe not 64, but an increased rounds, and sometimes you're not able to follow it. So these are all signs of unsteady bhakti. And then this is pride in one's performance of bhakti. Chakravarti Pad explains that when one performs, I was singing here. Yesterday we were singing, and I've been doing this for so many years. I know so many melodies. I know how to play harmonium, and I know tal, etc., etc. These are all external things. It's not bhakti. Bhakti is the heart, But if externally I can do all these things, and people come up to you, oh, you're so expert, and You're pure devotee. Wow. You're so good. And you start believing it. Oh yes, finally somebody understands, you know. And then you start acting like it. Then Bhakti's bye bye. Bhakti Devi doesn't like, Krishna doesn't like this play. It's pride. And so therefore most of us are in this bhajana kriya platform. Bhajana kriya, executing devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master. So bhajana kriya means performing devotional service, but it automatically means one is already initiated on that platform and engaged under the guidance of the spiritual masters in the 9 processes of bhakti, or the 64 processes of bhakti and of Vaidhi bhakti. And the top 5 pancha angam, the 5 topmost limbs out of those 64, anybody knows what they are? Sorry?
Taking Naam, being absorbed in the name of the holy.
So chanting Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, living in a holy place.
Dhambas. And then?
Bhagavatam, serving the devotee Bhagavata and person Bhagavata.
It is sadhu sangha. That's, yeah.
And worshipping deities.
Archa vigraha.
And associating with devotees. And reading Srimad Bhagavatam.
Studying Srimad Bhagavatam, yes. Which one is the topmost out of these 5? Chanting Hare Krishna is the best. After all, this is the Yuga Dharma. Maybe this little boy is not able to read the Srimad Bhagavatam yet. But he likes to do kirtan, right? It's easy. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yeah? You don't have to be so developed in consciousness and intelligence. But kirtan is nice and you feel something, isn't it? It's natural. Srila Prabhupada says even a child can take part in it. The other day I was saying, when I was in Eka Chakra some years ago, and we were going on a big Harinam procession with Maharaj, and there'll be 100 devotees or more, 200 devotees. And I was leading the Harinam with a microphone, and people were dancing, and there was one dog, or a couple dogs, that belonged to the Eka Chakra temple, ISKCON temple. They were the temple dogs. So they were happily coming with us to Kirtan, they were wiggling their tails, they loved it so much, and they, looking so happy while we were chanting. And so, I was leading the Kirtan, and I gave the microphone to the dog. And the dog goes, boo! It's down bossy dogs, so, and even a dog can chant. To speak of Lord Chaitanya, he was going through the forest. And the tigers and the deer, they were embracing each other and they were chanting Hare Krishna and dancing. Everything's backwards turned. The place of quarrel and hypocrisy turned into a massive Harinam Sankirtan. So how do we get out of this anishtata bhajan? Anybody has any suggestions, any ideas? Association. Yes, association always. Sadhusanga, shastra koi, lava matra, sadhusanga, sarva siddhi hoy. All perfection achieved by sadhusanga. Lava means one moment. And 1 moment is actually 1 second. No, so one moment, there are 18, there are 13 moments in 1 second, scientifically. So like, chuk. Srila Prabhupada would look at somebody, and just like glance through it with your eyes, like this much. And the person was finished. Or what to speak of, you look deep into your eye and I said, oh my God, I shrunk like into a size of a mustard seeds, like this small. Like he could see everything and knew everything about me. Pure devotees are no past, present, future. Bhushar Prabhu from New York is a Prabhupada disciple. He told me when Prabhupada came to the airport, and so there's a big Harinam party receiving Srila Prabhupada, and they were chanting Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. They put garlands on him and everything, and they were walking with him, and there was a policeman. He has never seen Prabhupada in his life, and he was running up and down. The Swamiji wants water. The Swamiji wants water. And it was like, that was his mission, to get some water for the Swamiji. And it was because Prabhupada was so powerful. A pure devotee's presence is so powerful. Just even a person, never seen him in his life, just spontaneously wanted to serve him, So sadhu sangha, yes. But the topmost of all the 5 angas is chanting Hare Krishna. So we come back to the same thing. But we have to start. And maybe you don't have kirtan all the time, like in Vrindavan, Mayapur, or New York City. But you can chant your japa. And many of you, most of you work from home, right? After COVID, everybody stays home. You have to go to the office, and you have to drive a lot. Even just go anywhere in the US, you have to drive so much. If you just go to YouTube and search for Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrta, even Krishna book, all of Srila Prabhupada's books are available in a narrative form, so you look in audio form and listen to it. I do it all the time. While you're cooking at home, while whatever chores you have to do, you can listen to it. I listen like this. When I cannot put my hand in a japa bag, I just listen. I have heard the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, whole Chaitanya Charitamrta, Chaitanya Bhagavat, so many Prabhupada lectures every day. This is also hearing and chanting. And the more we do it, the more we become accustomed to it. It becomes our second nature. And then you will be steady at it by the power of the devotees. So in that sense, yes, sadhu sangha is so important, because on our own we are very weak. But the power of a pure devotee, our hearing and chanting will be fruitful. It will have result. So anyway, this is my 2 cents words. We'll talk for today. Okay.